Guys, do you like everything about school? Are there rules that y'all would change?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Today we're talking about if you were principal for 1 week. Because
Science
science
is
is
overrated. With the hairstyle, it doesn't affect a child need like in studying or doing the work.
It's like classes should get AC.
Sinach, but
If
don't you
you-
think if we have digital tests, won't that encourage students to do more cheating? Because you can be
Well-
able to switch to Google or ChatGPT.
Welcome back to Gifted Radio Podcast. Today our topic is if you were principal for 1 week. I am Khess. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok.
I'm Shaquon, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok.
I'm Sinach, you can find me nowhere.
Okay, elaborate on our topic if you were principal for 1 week. Shaquon, what are 3 rules that you would change if you were principal for 1 week?
Okay, number one, which is like a specific hairstyle rule. You know, to me, children can have any hairstyle they want once it doesn't like distract them or once the parents, agree with the hairstyle. You shouldn't be there to dictate whatever hairstyle they have. Number two, I would change, you have to be in uniform all the time. So I don't even think you need a uniform, because there are other schools that don't use uniforms and they're still doing good. So it's like uniforms doesn't really define how a student performs. You know what I mean? And then sometimes the shirts, the ties, and so might get the child hot. So that might also contribute. Say it's a very hot place. A shirt and a tie won't really help you in that situation. But if you come with it like a jersey and say some jeans, you might be more cool in that jersey and jeans. And thirdly, washroom breaks. They say that you should only go during break and lunch, but sometimes you don't want to go there. But as soon as you sit, say after lunch, then your duty calls and you want to go do your deeds in the washroom. That's when you should be able to go. But they say no, you have to say you had this time. But not all the time. When like it's break or lunch, your body decides what it's time to go.
Okay.
That's the 3 rules I would change.
Okay, what about you, Sinach?
Well, 3 rules I would change, as Shaquon said, with the hairstyle, it doesn't affect a child need like in studying or doing the work, because you can have whatever hairstyle you want as long as it doesn't affect you, right? The second thing is the comfort of the school. So a lot of times the furniture, right? The furniture like what we have are wooden desks and benches, but I think if it's much comfortable, right, it won't give your a child backache and pain and stuff like that, because some days when the child comes home from school they have a pain, right, because they're sitting on that furniture for long hours in the school day and it's hard. And the third thing I would change is, so at my school, I go to a private school, and we don't have like snacks like things. So like for instance, a child doesn't get to eat breakfast in the morning because their parents have to go to work and they have to do whatever they have to do, right? And they have to rush and all this stuff, so they won't get to eat breakfast, right? And then they have to wait till break time comes or maybe till lunchtime comes, right? And this could affect the child because the child is hungry, they can't focus. So I think they should have like snacks for the child, like maybe a breakfast, also probably a snack, right, for the child, right? And yeah.
Yeah, elaborate on a second, like what you said about like furniture. There should be like bean bags, like like they could read. The students can relax and listen to what the teacher is focusing on, and they will be focused properly. My second rule that I would change is like classes should get AC, because like from my experience, like when the place gets hot, like you can't focus, and like the fans don't do nothing, but the AC would cool you down. And my last rule that I would change if I was a principal would be like the no homework policy. Like instead of children having to bust their brains for homework almost every single day, or whenever a subject teacher comes to give them homework, like they're trying to study because like in the term exams and so on. So like no homework. That's what I would change. Okay. Shaquon, what would be one new subject that you would add if you were principal for 1 week?
Hear me out, right? A nap time session. Because no,
That's good.
after lunch, after you're working from like 8 to whatever your lunchtime is, you're already burnt out. And then to sit through your afternoon period, especially if you have a time of like something like history last period, that's already tiring. So a little nap time session would be perfect, like a little 30 minutes to an hour, so you can be refreshed and rejuvenated for the afternoon. That's what I would add.
Okay, what about you, Sinach?
I mean, art is not really a new subject, but I think it should be one of the main subjects because you know how children, right, as we go, everything is art around us. Besides, art is similar to math, but not really that similar. So, art, you know how they have different shapes and things to draw it because when you're sketching, you have to make sure you get the shapes right, the proportions right. You know, you have to get everything right, maybe angles, degrees, or whatever. Yeah, so I think art should be a main subject so it helps like children. I wouldn't say it would help them really in math, but at least it would help them to master the basics.
Uh, yeah. One subject that I would add, hear me out, guys, is like wilderness survival skills, like basic survival skills. Like let's say they're let's say they go camping, right? It's important to learn the basics, like what to eat, what food not to eat. You know what bear to identify. So like you don't you know what to do when that specific bear or animal is there, and yeah, that's what I would say to be a new subject. Basic, common survival skills. All right. What would be one thing that you would ban, Shaquon? Like one subject that you would ban?
Before we go on to that, right? I have a question. Do we have bears? That you're so worried about to teach us how to protect ourselves from bears?
I'm talking about any other animals, but bears is my example of like an animal.
Alright, alright. Well, one thing I would ban is per se vapes. I know people would say, well, they already ban vapes, but have stricter searches from it because it's harming the youths of society right now. So that's why I would ban that.
Okay, what about you, Sunesh?
Ooh, that's serious. Yes, so like I would ban paper tests, right? Because having tests in school, like when you're doing it on a paper and you had to erase, and probably you might not get this answer 2 or 3 times, and on that test paper will start to look messy and dirty. Probably you might even erase the word off of the paper, right? So I think we should as a society or as we should actually ban tests because, well, not tests, but like tests in person. We should have digital tests.
Sinach, but don't you think if we have digital tests, won't that encourage students to do more cheating? Because you can be able to switch to Google or ChatGPT, use another phone to help them. Because you said in person, you don't want it in person anymore, digital.
Okay, let me really elaborate on that because I don't really think you would quite understand what I'm saying. So yes, we should have them in school and do the digital tests, right? And you should have like an app or something to be able to monitor it so they can like come out of the test and they can be able to do their work fair and square because it's not easy or it's not fair for others to be cheating, so the grades will be wrong because others might do it fair and square and they might get a low grade, well, because some others cheat, right? And they might pass them, so yeah.
Okay, here's one thing that I would ban in school. Like, teachers say that, like a personal experience, like eating, right? Like, if, let's say the school doesn't, want to provide breakfast, but like the students can buy breakfast at canteen and they can eat it in class because like it doesn't affect nobody. Eating doesn't affect nobody, it doesn't harm nobody, so like you can eat what you want in class as long as it doesn't spill on anybody or nothing. That's one thing that I would ban.
I agree.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, Shaquon, one subject that you would remove.
honestly, let's remove history because like
What?
really and truly, what is doing for us? Everything that happened
I like
happens.
history.
Like there has no correlation to what's going on in the future. What do I do in life with knowing that Christopher Columbus started his first voyage in whatever year that was? That has no help, no
interesting.
use to me. Let's get rid of that. This is a stressful subject, a tiring subject, and a lot of dates in that subject, which is
Before-
very unnecessary for me.
Before I go to you, Sinach, I want to say, instead of banning history, we should ban geography. Geography is just I don't know.
No, but hear me out, right? Geography is useful. As a
Geography
pilot,
is
you have to know, or not even just a pilot, any other, say, carpenters or so, they have to know like the level of the land so they know they can't put their like foundations here. For geography, other geologists they need to use that to know. Okay, well, tectonic plates movement here that was caused the volcano from here. But tell me one good use of knowing when was Christopher Columbus's first voyage.
It gives you knowledge, cause like
Unnecessary knowledge.
geography
is necessary knowledge.
geography just is basically maths, but if you put social studies inside of maths,
Useful thing.
It's-
You still haven't
you
answered
could-
my question, right?
you could
You still haven't.
instead of putting geography in school, just ban it entirely from school and put it in colleges and university.
Nah, bro. History is a better answer in my opinion.
I like history. How would you, Sinach?
A subject I would remove. I mean, maths would be one, but you can't remove maths because like you need maths. How about like something, a subject that is unuseful? Like for example, I know PE is useful, but you might. This is hard. A subject I would remove. Okay, like how about
She loves all subjects.
yes, that is true. That is true. Because I do all the subjects as I
So it's the answer just blank.
yeah, it's just blank
Alright,
because
okay.
That's okay.
yeah,
That's okay.
because I don't really know what subject because I like all the subjects to be honest.
Okay. So, Shaquon, what would students love and what would teachers hate about you? Starting with the first part.
Students will love me because I'll be chill, you know, because they are said I'll let them have whatever hairstyles they want, give them enough time. I know people will love that. Well, children, sometimes even the teachers might even love that little nap time. You know being less strict on the uniform. The students will also enjoy that. So I think they'll love me because I'm a chill guy. The teachers they won't love me so much because of that. Because remember, they would see, oh, imagine this one guy with say highlights in his ear. Oh my gosh, I grew up knowing that this is not right, and then just to see this guy come and change it out of nowhere, you know, they might not really appreciate that. So I would say the coolness is what the children would love and the teachers would hate.
Okay, Sinach, what about you?
Students would love, like, I would literally, as a principal, I would literally pause the session, a teaching session in between, and I would say, okay, no, well, we have to continue this, but it's time for us to do something fun, like some pop-up knowledge, like something practical, like skills, as Khess said, like hats, like hats.
Pause in the middle of the
Yes,
session for that.
Yes, you'll need it. Or probably like having a free period to play or do whatever games you want.
Or
playing
like play
scavenger
scavenger.
hunt.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I was
yes.
gonna say.
Yes, but the teachers would hate that because they're like, why are you pausing my subject to let these children do something that they want to do? Like, teachers would be like, nope, nope, nope. The students came here to learn, not to play or have fun. But children really need to have fun and play to relax their mind so they can able to focus more on the subject. So they'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to go to the subject, and yeah.
Okay, what would students love about me? I think the most that they would love about me is like, I probably think most of them would like, learn survival skills, learn skills, basic skills. And what teachers hate about that would be like, why are you doing this? This has never been a subject in school. And like, they probably would say it's useless because some subject teachers would say it's useless. Okay, time for a game. Yes or no. Alright.
Here are
Keyboard.
Thank you.
Your board finish. Your marker. First one.
yes or no.
Yes or no? A longer recess.
Ooh, I had this answer.
Okay, let's reveal.
3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Yes. Of course.
I have
yes.
no because of my earlier statement.
You,
I
you're just a
said
particle.
no. I said that I want a sleep session, right? If you have a longer recess, that cuts down the time to have a sleep session. Because remember, children won't want you to make the school day longer. So if I say I extend the recess to say about 30-40 minutes, then the lunch would have to go back, and because the lunch goes back, that means the class times also would have to go back, and it can be harder to slip in a sleep session, right? So thinking about that, remembering what I said earlier, I say no to the longer recess, so that the sleep session could fit in to the school day.
Okay, I put yes at least 30 minutes. 30 minutes is good enough for students to clear out their minds of any stress they have. Go and have fun, play cricket, play football. You could do that in a period of 30 minutes, and after 30 minutes, come back, and yeah, I think.
Yeah. So I chose yes, but I would at least put it for 5 minutes, because remember earlier I said they should pause the subjects to have a recess, right? Now if you have that recess, that one recess there, they should have another recess. But if I put it at the same time, then we'll have to have a longer school day, as Shaquon says, but in a different theory. So yes, but not as long, but yes.
Okay. Shaquon.
Alright, thank you. Yes or no, school pets?
Okay, reveal. Let's reveal. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, let me start with me first, because I love pets. I'm a dog person. I wouldn't decline being a cat person, but I'm a dog person. I love dogs. I love animals, especially parrots, birds. I love animals so much. I would see an animal and I would be like, okay, yes, I love this animal, because I don't like people in treating animals. So if they have a pet day, maybe students might have a more funner time, because you get to meet each other's pets, but hopefully you don't bite.
Okay, the reason why I said no is because I don't want my school smell like a zoo. Some animals aren't trained. They would just move up on all the floor and it would cause more work.
That is
no.
true.
Alright, so I said yes because think about it. If you say your class is a pet rabbit, right? After a hard day of, catch the reference, history again, a hard day of struggling with dates, and then you could go, with this rabbit petted, feel the fur. That's gonna take off some of that stress from you. So you can be more relaxed when going into your other subject or going into that nap session.
Yes.
Okay, Sinach, now it's your turn.
Yes or no? Uniforms optional.
Are we ready to review?
Yes, I'm ready. No, this is it.
Actually, you misinterpret the question, right? Like, you're just supposed to say yes, because optional, when you mean no, right? It's like you want to wear the suits to wear school
Oh,
uniform.
well, I guess.
Switch up.
Wait. Give me 1 second. Yes, 100%.
Or yeah, I have yes also because of my earlier statement. Students must be able to wear whatever they want, even because of the weather. Because a cold place, you won't want something more loose
Yeah.
because that's gonna be making you feel cold, right? So you will have
You
that
mean
option
something more like
to wear, yeah, something thicker. And when the space is hot, you don't want nothing too thick again because it will be more hot for you. You want something thin.
that's
So
true.
that's why I pick my yes.
I pick Yepers because, of course, you could wear whatever you want unless it's not inappropriate or any other part of the sort. But yeah, I think students should have the option to wear school, not you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, not the school uniform.
All right, mine. Okay. Finally, me. A 4-day school week.
Yes or no?
Are we going to review people? 3, 2, 1. I want to go first.
I got definitely.
Yes to the max.
Yes.
To the max.
Yes, I am 90% sure.
Cause like
Well, for me, I picked definitely not because it's gonna throw off the whole, school schedule and stuff like that. Because if you have a whole, say it depends on what day you take. So you take off on Monday, it's gonna throw off your sleep schedule because you're I gotta get early and all of that. If you have, say you take off on Friday, you have a whole extra day to not know what to do. You know what I mean? And that don't mean like, oh, you're gonna rest because you already know your body's gonna get accustomed to getting up this extra day already. So it's not gonna be easy to change up your body's routine, if you know what I mean. That's why I said that I should still have this whole 5 day.
I put yes to the max because like nobody wants to have an extra day of school. 4 days of school is very good. Like I mean like you can't like could be like I don't know like 16 subjects 4, 8, 12, 16. There's 4 days of school, 16 subjects. If it's gonna be okay, 4 subjects a day. So like you don't need an extra work day. That's why I choose like a 4-day week.
I choose yes. I'm 90% sure, right? Because like you want either yes. So on Fridays, right? Because it's the last day of the week. That is a fun day, a day we can play and relax, right? But also we have the parents' schedule, so that's why I put a 90% sure because I know the students will love it. Also, the teachers will love it too because they get to sleep in. But it would be a challenge for the parents because they would have to go to work and yeah.
Alright, well, if that's it, the challenge for you guys now is if you were a principal for a week, what would you guys have changed?
Okay, thank you.
Like, follow, share.
And bye.